Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. I had a client ask me a pretty good question of the day during one of our classes. They said, the guy's a financial planner, and he said, how do I remind my clients what a good job I'm doing for them? He said, they start with me and we kind of fix a bunch of messes, but after a while, they've been with me and everything's going kind of smoothly, and they look at my fee and say, what the hell am I paying you for? Why am I paying this much? I could do this with something else. And he said, maybe they don't say that, but he said, I'm worried they're going to say that. And he said, how do I remind them that I really am providing a valuable service and that it continues on? And I said, it's a damn good question. And it's one that I know the answer to, but sometimes I forget to do it myself. So thought I would share it with you guys, and maybe it's something you could do to keep a client longer, to help a client stay with you longer, help them recognize your value. Let me guess. Here's how most people do it. I am saving you money. I am crushing it for you. By the way, I've been working my butt off for you and I'm doing great. And so you need to know that. Or some version thereof of, hey, look, I'm the hero and you should thank me for that. You should always keep paying me for that. Well, what's the problem if there's a problem with that methodology? Well, I think I said it before, right? You're making yourself the hero. Sales is never about you. Never. It's never about you. It's always about your prospect, right? In the perfect world, in the sales world, how about this? You need to be the guide, not the hero, but the guide. The hero is the main character in the story. They have a problem to solve and they go out to solve the problem, right? Save the day, fix everything. And then often there's another character in the story arc called the guide who kind of whispers in the hero's ear and shares with him the truth about how to make this thing work, how to really solve the problem. And the hero gets all the credit and the guide doesn't care about credit. So in my world, I believe that salespeople should be the guide and let their customer be the hero. So how does this work when you want to make sure that your client sees the value in what you're doing? How does this work? Well, our second rule in our beliefs you have to have, right, is to ask, don't tell. So let's, instead of telling the client what a great job we're doing, let's ask them, are we doing okay? So let's back up for a second. Unless you ask, you don't have any idea what your client values. You don't know, right? You just assume that they value the same thing that you value. Same thing with a prospect, right? If you assume that they value the same things you value, well, you could be off by a mile. So same is true with our clients. So here's the questions I want you to ask, and you might recognize that these are very similar to the ones that you might use before you ask for a referral. So the first question you might ask your client in a meeting, in a quarterly meeting or annual meeting or whatever that is say very humbly, hey, tell me something. Are we helping you? Are we helping you? It's a very vulnerable question, right? And it may seem like a dumb question. And you may say, why the hell would I ask them that? Why would I want to put that in their mind? Well, because let them think about it. And if they say, no, not really, when the hell do you want to know that? And all you're preaching and telling them how great you are won't make a bit of difference if they're thinking, no, you're not really helping us. But start with that. Tell me something, kind of a strange question. Are we helping you? What you hope to say is, well, yeah. And then I want you to ask a little different question. I want you to say, well, how? How do you see us helping you? How do you see that? Because I want to learn what are the specific things that they see me doing, that they see you doing, that they put value in. Don't guess, because you're often going to be wrong. Why do you want to ask this? How am I helping you? How do you see us helping you? because I want you to make sure you keep doing those things, right? You may think it's all, if you're an investments guy, you may think it's all about returns. And maybe they say, we just like the fact that when we call and want to come see you, you invite us in. You don't have any idea until you ask. The third question, right? The first one is, are we helping you? The second is how. The third question, here's the killer. Is that big of a deal? Is that big of a deal? Why would I ask that question? Because I want to know, right? The highest level of questions that we can ask our prospects to understand them the best are their opinions about their current and future situation. Their opinions, which by definition is emotional, right? So I want to know, are we helping you? Yep. Okay, great. That's a yes or no question, very intellectual question. How are we helping you? Okay, there's your open-ended question. You're getting some more feedback, but again, it's intellectual. The third question, which is where you open up the conversation to real shit, is tell me something. Is that a big deal? Is that a big deal? What you hope they'll say is, hell yeah, it's a big deal. You're doing this, and this. And this is why it's a big deal, right? Remember, your prospect, until it comes out of their mouth, it's not true. But when it comes out of their mouth, there's something special about the vibration of the jaw. When they tell you, yes, it's a big deal, and here's why, all of a sudden that comes out, and that becomes their truth. And remember this, they're not thinking about you all the time. They're not. If they are, you probably have a problem. But ask them, dig in and figure out, is that a big deal? Now, if they say, no, it's really not, well, then you better figure out, don't you want to know now that you have a problem? I mean, don't you? Anyway, you can follow up with some more questions like, tell me something, anything specific we're doing that you really like, anything you wish we would quit doing or would do differently, right? What are the things I need to know about you and your situation going forward so we can make sure we're taking good care of you? Boy, that's a good one, right? Ask them what they might need in the future. This is where you uncover more things. Do you notice how much I'm telling them how great we are? Hell no, I'm not telling them how great we are. I want to find out what they think. And then here's a question that people get mad at me about. I would never ask my customer that, but I think it's a great question. And it's gutsy. Tell me something. What would it take for you to want to fire us? What do we have to do for you to want to fire us? Now, most of the time people look at you like, wow. But then they'll tell you. And here's, when do you want to know that? I want to know right now if there's something on their mind that if I did that, they'd fire me. Because I'll make sure I never do that. I want to put that in their notes. I want to put in their notes, what is it that they value? Here's why they said it's a big deal. Here's what they wish we did more of. Here's what they wish we didn't do so much of, if there is anything. And then here's what it would take for them to fire us. A couple things. People don't know what good looks like. They only know what they've been getting, right? So ask them, pull it out. What is this? What does really good look like for you? Spend time getting your customers, your clients' opinions about their current situation with you. It can not only make you a lot of money because it forges the relationship, it can also keep you from having a great client go away because you didn't understand their situation. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Put some of this shit to use. It'll make a big difference in your world. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.